People worry about cutting off the wrong branch. Don't worry about it. It will grow back up to give you design choices, okay? Hi, I'm miltonchang of Bonsaiheirloom. Today I'm going to use this Chinese Zelkova. This is the variety of Chinese Zelkova called Schneider variety, and it's very characteristic by the lines on the bark. Many people wrote me about how to turn a sapling into a bonsai because I advocate growing sapling in the ground. So here's an example. I had this sapling, I would say no bigger than this twig, and I planted it in the ground probably, I'd say 10 years ago, and I chopped it a couple of times, and then about 3 years ago, I put it, dug it up and put it in this growing pot. So today, then I'll show you how that works when you planted a tree in the ground. So let me pull this out. As always, I start with the roots. And this is quite a vigorous growing tree, growing very fast. I just use garden soil, which is very poor soil, and then I mix with the redwood compost and so forth to increase aeration. But you can see there's a tremendous amount of roots growing everywhere. So this is a very vigorous tree. So let me comb out the top to see where I want the tree to begin. And again, you can do that in the summertime with these vigorous growing trees, elm and Zelkova and maple and even pine during the summer months. Just remember to compensate for the root loss when you do drastic root cuts with the reducing the leaves, the trunks, the branches. All my trees have very good rootage, spreading out, now curled up and wind up together and all that, because I take great care in the formative stage to make sure the roots are growing out nicely. Like this one was a big roots growing out. I cut it. I'd expect it to shoot out. Like here it's already shooting out to have radial roots. So over time, it will look natural. It would blend into the cuts. And I'll show you that's how it also works for the branches, where it would make the branches where you cut it doesn't look like a drastic cut, but grow into it. So you see this one, it grows down tremendously more, but the trunk doesn't seem to get much bigger. So the likelihood is that I'll put the soil back and try to do a little cutting to induce root growth. And someday I may be able to take a chainsaw and cut it, reciprocal saw, and cut it at this height so that there will not be much of a stump. Or else I'll tilt this over and cut it right below inside, just the trunk part. And so that's how you grow a vigorous tree from the ground back into a bonsai pot someday. So I want you to see how this tree grew. It started off wild growing here, 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 and I cut them off so that there's a design. So when I cut off these, I basically create a taper. You see here's that big. When I cut off all these, the next level is this high. And then this will be side branches coming out. And I keep doing that. And then the next time, so this is a tall tree with multiple trunks. I cut off 2 of them, let one go up because I decided to do this as a formal upright. And then when it grew again, a stick like this, I cut it about when it was about this size. And then another one grew out to that size. So that's how I create a taper now. So you can see when I cut it, this one grew back. In fact, it came out of go over both sides into this. I have a choice either to cut it here So this tree would come up straight, a little turn, and then a little turn and a little turn. And so the next step from here to here is this high, and then from here to here this high, and then I can cut it off here to make it go this high. So the tree someday will be about this high, I think, by the time when it got the apex grow out. So the next time is I will let this branch grow tall to thicken that part of the branch so that it will blend into the thing to look nicely. And then this one, I'll probably cut it off for some side growth, and this will be the side growth. So that I took care of the apex. Now let me take care of the stuff down here. So like this branch, it's really, you don't want a branch to come out like this. And I think the people ordinarily would try to kind of wire it or something to bend it down. But what I would do is a cut and grow method is I just say, so I want the branch to come out like going out here. With that in mind, then I would just cut off like here to see where it would shoot out. And so this would shoot out in all directions. For that matter, it's got one on that direction. That's fine. But I think this is underneath of these branches, so it should not be the dominant one. So that should be the weaker one, but these should be the strong one coming to cover this hole. And then the same thing here. If I cut off this part, see, this would be a nice branch to cover this part. And then if I cut off here, this would shoot out to cover that part. So again, like people worry about cutting off the wrong branch, don't worry about it because it will grow back up to give you design choices, okay? Look at this little root. It's sending out a plant. That's just a little broken root to shoot up, and that's another plant. So these are very easy to propagate as well, almost as, to tell the truth, Zelkova and elm are very, very closely related, I think. A lot of the characteristics are the same, but scientifically they're in a different category. I'm not sure I like this apex. I think this is a little too tall for the tree. So again, I shouldn't be worrying about it. I just cut it. And now the tree will be like this tall. When it's all done nice and done, thick trunk like this, it'll be a nice tree. This tree basically started as a seedling about this big. And I planted it in the ground. And what happens the first time, when I look at it, it's got 4 branches, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I cut them off, 5 of that, I guess. And I cut off all these. I chose this one to be the going up one because I was looking at this, the more straight part. And so, because I wanted to make a formal upright. So you can see this nothing grew out of this cut, but this one grows out of that cut, nothing grew out of that cut. Well, maybe this part grew out of the cut, and then that part grew out of that cut. So now I have lower branching to do my design. And then I just cut it off, and right now it doesn't look like much, but what happens is that you visualize this branch gets big, you let it grow longer. This part you grow a little shorter, this part grow longer. So you can have a taper like this, and a taper like that, and a triangle like that. And that's how you visualize what you want it to become, and then it will become that. And what you can do is that you can take a chisel, clean off some of the dead wood. If you take a chisel to clean this, even though it's very hard, it's quite easy to break because it's already brittle. You can make this like a very interesting healing curve, like in a nature how a tree got broken off, a break branch, and it heals. So I like to keep my trees natural and it's quick and easy using the clip and grow method. And there you are, that's your tree. I think this will be my front. This branch can be pulled down. The main purpose of this demonstration is to show you how you take a sapling or a straight stick and make it into a bonsai. And what I show is this, when it grew first time, it kind of grew spread out, and I cut off all these branches to make it go vertical. Of course, I can also make one curve, choose that as an angle or something. And then this one takes over, and then you can see I cut it again up here to force one to grow straight up. And so that's how you create a taper and a branching to create a formal upright tree from a sapling that's straight up. So again, I think for you beginners, get some good material, elm, maple, juniper, pine, and put them in the ground and start to manipulate them while in the ground. And you cut them. And then you cut them and cut them year after year. After several years, when the trunk is big, it's worthy of your time to work it as a bonsai. Then you dig it up and put it in a growing pot and start to working it as a bonsai. And then eventually cut the roots so to fit a shallow pot, and that's your bonsai. And you know, most people are afraid of killing the bonsai. And the reason is that bonsai pot is very shallow and they tend to dry out. And so the secret for keeping bonsai alive is to never let the root ball dry out. Put it under a tub if you like, so that on top of a tub, so they can fill it with with water. You never drown the tree. Let it dry out from time to time, but always keep the root ball moist. Then you can keep your tree forever like me. Most of my trees, right now, quite a number of my trees are 50, 60 years old. Enjoy your bonsai, have fun. I hope you like this video. Click like to give me some encouragement. I like that. And subscribe to our channel, and please tell a friend. So with that in mind, thank you very much, and see you next week.